Hi, Emily.
Emily's.
Hey, Rob.
Oh, just all the Emilys. I want to be called Emily too.
Yeah. Okay, Rob, Emily.
Okay. We can call you Emily Rob.
That sounds good to me.
Who you gonna
Well,
rob though?
good morning. Good morning. This is the Saturday service. You can see that because it says it right above my head. Today is. Someone help me out on today's date. It is October 23rd, 2023. This is the Saturday service. I'm your host, Rabbi Brian. Says that.
2023 just yet.
Did I get the wrong date?
No, you said
Wrong year.
2023.
This is the 18th month. What is it? I have no idea. I'm off. Okay, this is the date. That's all we need to know. And here are my friends who are here.
Numbers are good.
My friends who are here to say hello. So everyone who's on Zoom, if you would wave to all the people who are watching afterwards. And we have friends who are in New Zealand. I was corrected. I said Australia last time, and then I got a snarky email back. Appropriately, because I screwed that one up. So welcome to the Saturday service, and hi to Jess and to James and to Jeff and to Meg and to Ron and to Michael and to Christina and Emily and Steve and Barb and Rita and everyone else who I greeted ahead of time. Oh, and hi Scott. I want to thank you for joining in, and if you're watching after the fact and you want to join us live, like all the people who are here on the screen, please join us. We'd love to have your voice as one of the many voices who are with us. Here is...
Yes, please wake up earlier.
Yeah, somebody was complaining to me about the time of the service, and I explained to them if they just moved to the East Coast, it wouldn't be a problem. So
Perfect.
it's not really...
That's how I get here.
Right, that works. Or for Christina, what time is it where you are, my friend?
5 p.m.
It is
It's
5 p.m.
a very nice time.
So you can do the
Happy
Saturday service at
Yes.
5 p.m. It's perfectly acceptable. So thank you guys for being here. I do have, I want to start us out with a little bit of a review question. Last week we did a thing about a tissue. Remember a thing we did about a tissue last week? Hold on.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
We did a thing about a tissue, and I asked you to carry a tissue with you. Did anyone manage to have... I have a different way of doing that this week, unless somebody... I'm scanning the images of the people.
I've had
here.
a tissue all week long.
I had a metaphorical tissue.
Yeah, I was going for the metaphorical ones here. Does somebody care to speak to the metaphorical tissue issue, or is there...
Yeah, it was blowing your nose and handing it to somebody.
Yeah, Emily, go ahead. Tell us a little bit more, would you?
Where you blowing your nose and then you offer it to somebody and somebody says, no, thank you.
Right. And,
Or yuck.
But this was Emily, this was a metaphor. We're not just talking about blowing your nose. What was the other half of it?
Well, just because somebody offers you something doesn't mean you have to take it.
Right, exactly. And if somebody says, hey, you're not a real rabbi, that's not a real service, I can simply say, no, thank you. As opposed to the other thing that I might have wanted to say, which brings me to this point. I got a lovely email from a longtime religion outside the box friend, and I don't want to incriminate the person by using names or any particular details, but the person said, Rabbi, I have a very hard time when you use that F word. And it so upsets me that I have to turn off the video. I can't do it.
Food?
No. And let's not guess the word, because if we guess it and we say it right, we're going to lose that person from being able to watch. So I think we know what F word I'm talking about here. So the friend asked, so the person wrote and said, could you please stop doing that? And the answer is, of course. And if it's going to upset someone, I don't need to drop an F-bomb like that. But I'm wondering, because today is supposed to be about review. and reviewing a lot of the things that we learned, I wonder if somebody can. I took this criticism, and how could I see this as not just criticism? And that's starting already deep in, and it's probably a harder question than I should have started with. But this idea that somebody complains, I have what Emily was just saying, and I can politely say, no, thank you. I don't need to take your criticism. But the other way that I can look at it is I can look at the person's criticism, and how can I look at their criticism so that it's not offensive to me?
It shows he wants to be here.
Yeah, it shows that she wants to be here, and that within
Or she.
it was a she. I'll give you that hint. That within every criticism, within every criticism and complaint, there is, what's the other word that I'm looking for here?
Commitment.
Their commitment. That there's
Commitment. Oh yeah, commitment.
that there's a commitment within every criticism or complaint. That
Ron B had his hand up. I don't know if he wanted to contribute to the conversation.
Well, we're going to put you on the spot for a moment, Ron B. What do you have something you want to share?
Isn't it also a request?
Explain. Are you saying that a request is also a commitment?
No, a complaint in many ways is a request. If someone is complaining to you
Correct.
or to me about something they do, they're asking me to change, and they because they feel because it's important to them for some reason. And if I want to be considerate and kind to that person, and it's something that bothers them deeply, then maybe I need to change that when I'm whatever it is that I'm doing, like using the F word, around them, because it causes them a little discomfort or pain.
Absolutely.
And the level of discomfort and pain is maybe what drives me as to how I respond. But if they're speaking deeply, then I'm obliged to.
Well, we're at least obliged to consider what they said. We don't necessarily have to do it, but we should definitely consider it. Yeah, and that's where I am. So I'm going to stop using the F word. And for all of you who were tuning in just to hear the rabbi curse, you are SOL. So I just did it with letters there.
I like that. What if you like that word? See,
you're allowed to say any words that you want, Emily. You can do any words that you want. I just am taking it as I chose to make this choice. And if somebody sends me an email that says, Rabbi, I don't want to come to your services anymore because you stopped using this word, I'll get back to you next week and tell you how I handle that. Okay.
I will help me feel comfortable.
Yeah, I'm trying to make more people feel comfortable, but of course it's not always majority rules. If somebody in a minority feels like they're not being taken care of, we have to look out for them as well. It's the goal, the responsibility of the group to take care of all of the members. Okay.
I do have one other question, if I might.
I love to hear what you have to say, Ray.
Is this particular person one who complains about everything, no matter what you do?
And the answer is this is the first email of complaint, criticism of, this is the first time I have heard from this person. We've had many interactions before.
Okay. Well, it's really your call. And whatever it is, we'll be there for you.
Appreciate it, Ray. And thank you. Okay, so I was going to make a point with all of that about so not taking it personally. That was the part where I was getting at. And I wanted to teach you guys 4 letters that I think you already know. And our friend Lee, who usually does the transcription, is not here. And I think, I don't know why this one reminds me of Lee so much. But here's the 4 letters. Do y'all know that word, QTIP?
Oh, cute.
And the acronym QTIP stands for Quit Taking It Personally.
Oh.
Ah,
Quit taking it personally. And I heard this story from my Buddhist teacher, Nagi, the man who introduced me to James, and he taught this technique, Q-tip, to a bunch of women in a jail. And he said that they started throwing Q-tips at one another when things started. If someone started to take things too personally, they would pelt that person with Q-tips to remind them not to take it so personally. The way he told the story, I wound up laughing, and I wish I remember all the details to it, because apparently it didn't work that well.
you can always use a good laugh.
And I want to do some review. Because there's lots of things that we've talked about, and I want us to keep talking about. Before I do that, I made a note to myself, and I've been trying to get to this note for weeks. How are we doing? Like, how are you doing? And give me, there's an old Jewish story that says, someone says, "How are you?" And the response is, in one word, good. And he says, all right, but if I gave you 2 words, not good. It's very hard to bring it all down to just how are you, thumbs up, thumbs down. That's really binary. It's really too simplistic. So let me ask, and this is a public forum, anyone have how they are and really feel like they would love to share with the community, to share with the group how they are, just to get it out there?
Oh, I can.
Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Jocelyn.
We've had 6 obviously go through the house and have all tested negative, fortunately. So it's just rhinovirus, but I'm a week late on my MBA paper, and that's just stressed me out like constantly. But fortunately, my professor is really understanding, so I'm very fortunate with that one.
Good.
But
it's
rough. Little stressed, but I'm just trying to recover.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share with the group how they're doing today? And let me say hi to Ann and Shmuley and other people who joined in, Betsy and Joan. Hi, Joan and Sari.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Anyone else have what they want to share how we're doing today? That's part of what communities do. Yeah. Go ahead, Betsy.
I'm sleepy, but glad to see all of you.
We haven't seen you for a while, Betsy. You doing all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I've been around.
Okay.
I was here last Saturday.
I missed you. I apologize for that.
Okay. Well, I don't think I said a whole lot last week.
There was no need for a musical number last week, so I appreciate that. Somebody said to me, Brian, it's amazing what good people you have at your service. How many of you have that feeling like, wow, this happens to be an amazing group of people? And I agree, but I'm also going to tell you something. It could be anyone. I think every group of people is an amazing group of people. If the people are willing to just be open enough to be themselves, it's almost always an amazing group of people. It's either that or I happen to have a magnetic pull that only amazing people show up to wherever I happen to be in the world when I'm there. It's not beyond possible, but the math doesn't hold up. So I'm glad to see all of you amazing people. Let's do a little bit of review. And I asked a few people ahead of time if they would share. And Gord, I'm going to voluntold you. You and I did talk ahead of time. And there was a tool, a religious spiritual tool that you said you would share with us that you learned. Because I thought it's better for other people to share tools than me to just talk the whole time. So Gord, go ahead, talk to us.
I just want to be clear, you're not calling me a tool.
No, I am not calling you a tool. Thank you, Gord.
Okay, all right.
Priceless.
Well, I received
You're good for
lovely...
something, though.
I received a lovely prize in the mail for bringing my offspring to the service.
Mhm.
And my offspring is still alive and well, but is often sleeping through the service. And it was a wooden token, and I've been carrying it around in my pocket. And when I'm at work, and all of the things that go on at work, all of the busy stuff in the head and the reactions and stuff, every now and again I'll just put my hand in my pocket and feel my little wooden token.
I'm
And
going
it
to
just-
show
it's a
everyone.
grounding-
Here's a little picture of the little wooden token. And on one side, it says, I am but ashes and dust. And on the other side, it says, for my sake, the world was created. So talk to us a little bit more about that, Gord. How does having I am nothing and I am everything in your pocket a helpful thing for you?
Well, I love the paradox,
Yeah.
that idea that I am completely insignificant, but I'm also very significant. You know, this is all for me, and I should appreciate the beauty that's around me. And I probably shouldn't take myself too seriously because I'm dust.
Amen.
Amen. Let's, I think this we haven't done for a long while, but this would be a really good time, I think, to do like snaps, like it's poetry. So if you do that.
Can
Is important.
Can I make one more comment, Brad?
Yeah, please.
Just the nature of life. I'm in all sorts of different groups, and the person who is facilitating the group contributes enormously to the atmosphere and whether people feel comfortable being vulnerable.
Yeah.
We have a new boss at work who creates that atmosphere, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And you create this atmosphere here, so I know you're a humble guy, but what you do has allowed us to be so safe together.
Well, I thank you. I thank you, Gord. And please, if you could mention more about my modesty. Okay. Okay, I'm going to call myself out on that one. I'm going to call myself out on that because I deflected. What I just did was I deflected the compliment. And hey, I'd call you out on it. I'm going to call myself out on it. I thank you, Gord. I truly am doing nothing more than just being myself. And the fact that and I see it and I know what it is the fact that I'm comfortable being myself and that I can make a mistake in front of you all and not be embarrassed gives everyone the permission to do the same.
Indeed.
And all I am is human, and all I do is try to love, and that's it. And it's amazing.
There's a wonderful comment in the chat. It says, it's an amazing group. I love seeing and hearing from an entire group where I know no one but Brian.
Yeah.
It expands my awareness of the world. Thank you.
Yeah. Show of hands, just a show of hands so that people know. How many people who are in the Zoom group have I actually physically touched hands with? Okay, my daughter, obviously. But it's a very small number of people. It's a very small number of people, and that's amazing. And there's something really special about knowing that random people are out there and are kind. Because if you listen to the news, which I do not advise, but if you listen to the news, you would get the sense, because that's what you keep hearing, that the world is a horrible, horrible place. And yes, but there are also random people, like all the people who are listening to this service, all the people who are here, and there's an infinite number more who just are trying to be good people. It's pretty amazing. Okay, and I'm going to do something that Emily taught me. I don't know where Emily is on the screen right now, but Emily taught me when you hear a compliment, if you're not really versed at taking in compliments, when you get a compliment, to just swallow. Just to take a moment so that you physically mark that you got a compliment and you've paused time for a moment there. So thank you, Emily, for that tip, and Gord, thank you for the love. Appreciate it. Anne, my friend Anne, said that she would be. I don't have that. Anne is not I have another Anne on the right now. The Anne who said she would volunteer to talk about Aristotle and how it helped her isn't here. But Alex, I know you're here, and you can spotlight your own self. And always thanks to Alex who does all the tech. Alex, you said you could comment a little bit to us about the levels of learning and how they've helped you tolerate other people.
Yeah. I've been I've been doing that a lot at work lately. We've hired a junior guy about a year ago, and you know, he was a really junior guy, and he was really green, and he's learned a lot. And there's a lot of things that I just sort of take for granted that I know, you know, working in tech. And so anybody who works in tech, there's this impulse within me to just assume that they know it. And there's been a lot of times where I've had to kind of check myself and say, hey, wait a minute, levels of learning. I have to remind myself that, you know, it isn't just, you know, open up my brain and download it into my, you know, coworker and then assume that it's okay. I told you, there it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna time you out for a second, just so that we have that the levels of learning is that learning isn't binary. Yes, I can do it. No, I can't do it. That there are stages in between, and that if you don't remember the stages in between, that's fine. That just means that you don't know it fluently yet. Right? If you don't know what these 5 things are, it just means you don't know it. It doesn't mean you're not a good person. So here are the 5 stages of learning. The 5 stages of learning. So help me out, crowd. First one is I can't do it at all.
I don't know anything.
And the last one is I can do it fluidly without having to think. Right. What was number 2?
Someone help.
Yeah. You need a lot of help, hand holding. And number 3?
You need hints from that person.
Somebody gives you a hint from the outside. And level 4, once you no longer need someone to say, okay, you remember it's the thing that says orangutans, something with rats. Do you remember that? That's a hint from the outside. But once you're done with that, we go to 4, which is
Self-clue.
Self-hint.
Yeah, you hint yourself.
Self what?
You give yourself a hint. You can give yourself a hint. That's where, if you ever notice that you're talking yourself through a problem, that's what you're doing, is you're giving yourself hints, is you're talking your way through it. And a really important thing, and then I'll get back to Alex, is to remember that when we are stressed, we fall down an ability level, which is why when you're on the side of the road after almost getting into a car accident, you're going to start talking to yourself about how to drive.
Good.
Okay. And Alex, I love your point. I love your point that, oh, and I've lost your video, but that's all right. Your point is that we need to remember that the people who we just taught something to, they too need to do all 5 steps of learning.
Yes.
And you can't how many times do I have to tell you? And the answer is more than you've told me. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, and I see that a lot too with you know, some of my coworkers and the people that I've been teaching things to, is that especially like if they make a mistake or if there's some pressure, hey, we got to get this done right now. Immediately, I see that in people's performance, in that whatever level they were at, they definitely fall back 1 and sometimes even 2 levels.
Yep.
And I've really used that tool a lot to remind myself not to get irritated with someone, because
Amen.
a lot of these things to me seem very innate and very natural. But then of course I've been doing IT work since I was in high school.
Right.
And you know, for some of the people that I'm working with, they're a lot newer to the field. So
to have patience, and that's part of, like, I wrote on the announcement for today's service, I said, the point of it all. And I want to talk about the point of it all. What is the point? What is it that we're doing? And it's what Alex just said. It's not getting mad at the person who didn't understand your instruction, because getting mad at them helps nothing. Instead, being patient and being loving and giving and no one means to be not learning things as fast as they wish they could. And to be patient and kind, that's the point. In a little bit, we're going to go to small groups and talk a little bit more about that. But I want to see, of the people who are on the screen, and there's more pages of people, and if I can't see you, please raise your electronic hand or put something in the chat so I know. Is there another tool that we've done? I know, Joe, you were going to talk about dump in, comfort in, dump out. You willing to talk about that? We didn't talk about that very much, but I know it was something
Sure.
that meant something to you. So can you tell people about this tool and what it's meant for you?
Okay, so the idea is that you can be selective about who you who you share when you're hurting or when you're going through a difficult time. And if you remember the diagram, it's like circles.
I'm going to make a
there's
diagram
dot.
right now for everyone. So here are the circles.
Okay.
And here in the very center is the epicenter. That's where the problem is. That's where the grief is. That's where and then here are the people who are married to that person, or and here might be their co-workers. And here might be the people who live in the neighborhood. And it's just going to keep going out, epicenter growing out, going out, going out. Go ahead, Joe. Keep talking to us.
Okay, so the idea is that I can dump out, and however that is, writing or talking or crying, but I use the trusted people to dump my stuff out. But I also make a very important decision to only let the people in that will comfort and understand the situation, to protect myself.
It is a violation, and anyone who's on the outside, so the coworker can complain to the person in the neighborhood about the thing that happened, and the family member can complain to a coworker. But the violation of this, and to be careful and watch when it happens, is when somebody on the outside tries to make it about them. And they break the rule and they try to get comfort from someone who is closer into where the center is. And Joe, I think you're absolutely spot on, is for us to remember that we don't need to. We can say no thank you. We don't have to take care of someone if we're closer into the problem. What an important thing. Thank you for sharing that again, Joe.
You're welcome.
Jess, your face just showed up on the screen. I don't know if that meant you wanted to share something or your face just showed up on the screen.
I was taking a drink.
Okay. Good.
Thanks for inviting me.
Ray, where's my buddy Ray on the screen? Ray, you were on a moment ago. Ray, you said you would be willing to talk a little bit about words. Can you share with us? There you are, Ray. Ray, you are muted, though, so as fine as your words are, they are not coming through yet.
Yeah, okay. To me, words carry so much meaning. And naturally, we all look at words differently because of whatever filters we're going through. But you have to be careful with words because you can't take them back. Yeah. You can say to someone, for example, that shirt really sucks. That's the ugliest shirt I've ever seen. And then they look at you sadly and say, but my mother who died gave it to me. Mm-hmm. And you feel like, oh, hell. But you can't take it back because you said it.
And Ray,
so you really
go ahead.
Have to be sorry. You have to be very careful with words.
And you had talked to us a little bit about the words thanks. Can you talk to us about that one again? Thanks, and then you had said also about another one, but let me do one at a time.
Well,
do you remember what you had said?
Not particularly, but let me think about it.
Oh, that's all right.
I know that
the other one you had here was about get to. Go ahead. I apologize.
It's okay. Instead of just saying thanks, which is sort of
that was it.
an offhanded way, and it doesn't really express sincereness to me. I thank you, or if you're looking right at someone, thank you. But it shows true appreciation and understanding.
Right. I think that's great that there's a difference between saying thanks and I thank you. And the power of words there is important. The other one we had was this one, the have to get to split. You got something about that, Ray?
Have to puts a burden on you. It's an obligation. And I get to means you have a choice to do it or not to do it. And how you take that can bring joy to you.
Yeah.
I have to go shopping, or I get to go shopping and buy food, and thanks be to the Great Spirit, or however you look at that, that I have the money to do that.
And this is such an important thing, and this goes to the point of all of this is just and look, I don't have to change the words, and I don't have to stop cursing. I could continue to curse, but I know that I can change the words that I say. And I don't have to say things. I get to say things. I can change I have to go to the hardware store to I get to go to the hardware store. And anything that we're doing where we make a small change, we have the ability to change our whole life. We can live in a better world simply if we change the voice that's up here in our head by changing the vocabulary. That's really powerful. That's really amazing. That's what we're here to do.
I love that.
Thank you, Emily.
I love that get. I get to even things that I hate having to do. When I say get, I like it.
I used that a lot this week, and it was really helpful.
Do you have an example of it, Jess, or just that general comment?
I can give an example.
Yeah, please do. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to try to spotlight you so we can see some more of you. Go ahead.
Thank you. I have a very difficult drive that I have to make periodically. It's very stressful on many levels, and it gets more stressful over the cold weather coming. But it gives me freedom in my life that I wouldn't have otherwise. So rather than, I always dread it, but rather than looking at it as a have to, I looked at it as a get to, and it really reframed for me, what else that gives me in my life. Right. So it was definitely something that changed, the paradigm around how I was able to think about that. So thank you for that.
It's pretty powerful. Just one word, being conscious of the one word. Thank you, Jess. Betsy, you have something you want to add?
Well, I had a comment on the words thank you.
Go ahead.
And I'm thinking of the Native American community that I've been into, this one spiritual circle, the CCWIS Sacred Breath of the Creator thing, is that they have a word for thank you, which is haichka. And there's another word, ihaichka, is a sacred thank you. So to really, it's sort of a namaste kind of.
Yeah, instead of just mouthing off the word. If anybody would like, please press the number 8. I don't know what that was, but I heard that. Yes, thank you, Betsy, for saying we can change the thank you, and really you can. This is going to sound like woo-woo spiritual mumbo jumbo, but you can actually have the thanks come from a deeper place. How cool is that? Thank you, Betsy. Bob, you have a comment. Go ahead, my friend.
Yes. What about I need to?
You need to what?
Well, in the sense of I have to or I get to, what about I need to?
So you need to go to the bathroom. You need to eat.
Not yet.
So could you, what could you say instead of I need to? Could you not change it to I get to?
Well, I could say I get to go out and work in the yard, or that means I get to do that. But I might need to look at it and I say, I need to go out and do this.
Well, I think it depends if Rita told you you have to do it or not.
No comment on that.
Is she immediately on your side there? Because I don't want to mess anything up.
Yes, you're correct.
No comment. Okay. You get to sit next to Rita, which is fantastic. Thank you, Bob. I want us to go.
Can you see Shmuley's hand?
No, I didn't see Julie's hand.
Okay, Shmuley had his hand up.
Go, Shmuley. Thank you, Bob.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good.
I guess that need to has to do more with life and death situations. I mean, I need to eat, I need to sleep. Those are situations that if you don't do them, I mean, you're going to perish, or somebody's going to perish.
You're
well,
right.
I do get to it something you decide to do.
I do think we can. Thank you, Shmuley. They are needs, but we can still be thankful that we can complete those needs.
I need to cook dinner. I get to cook dinner.
Yeah. There's a difference.
How about I need to get outside more because my soul craves.
I need
right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a spiritual life or death situation.
Yeah.
And I need to eat, but then I get to either buy the food or fix it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you're saying I need to do that, it's putting an obligation on you. Instead of saying I get to, which brings you joy.
I hear you.
So do you want to be under obligation, under pressure, or do you want to look at it as this is something that brings me joy and is uplifting?
So Ray,
That's
I think
the
what you're
difference to
saying
me.
is for us to translate and see if we can't substitute again the word get to, or just to at least be suspicious when we say need to, have to, that maybe we have another way of looking at it that could loosen it up a little bit.
Right.
I like
again, with the situation of eating, I can dread fixing myself food, but I can go buy it, and then I get to do it, and it's more enjoyable.
Wonderful.
But
Wonderful.
I still need to eat.
Yes, you do. You do. I want us to go. We're going to go into small groups in a moment, and I'm going to show you what I want us to do in small groups. This is a grid that I know many of you are familiar that we've done in the past, and if you're new, the people who have been here in the past will help you out. And the grid goes like this: that there are 4 options in change and not change. Delta being the Greek letter for change, and so here's not change, here's change, here are benefits, here are detriments. So we have 4 options. If we don't change, there are problems, which we often refer to. This is the monster. This is the problem quadrant. If we do change, we get a pot of gold. So there's a benefit to change, and there's a detriment to not changing. And what we've started to look at, and this is the work of Eli Goldratt, are these two other quadrants, which is half the equation, which is what are the benefits to not changing? And that one we had referred to as the mermaid, because as it's amazing how many people don't know, it always shocks me that mermaids are allergic to gold. So if you got the gold, you would lose your friend the mermaid. You all knew that mermaids are allergic to gold, right?
Oh,
You're
sure.
the smart
I
people.
remember.
It's those other people. I don't know why.
Learned it in 2nd grade.
So,
Yes, yeah.
and then on this side, there are robbers. That if you get the gold, you're now going to have right? So you change whatever action it is in your life. You get the benefits of the gold, but now there are new potential undesirable effects that have come up. And what I'd like us to do is I want us to look at if the change is to live a life, and I'm going to fill in this quadrant, and the quadrant is that our goal, the gold, is to be kinder to be more loving. And I'm going to even add in to be hopeful, because I do believe that having hope is a choice. That having hope is a choice. And we're going to go into small groups. And I'm going to give you 10 minutes in the small group to come up with, if the goals are to change our life, to have more hope, to be kinder, and to be more loving, what are the potential robbers that might come up? And to talk in your group, you also might want to tell each other your names and where you're from. But to talk in the group of what are the things, if I don't change, there are benefits to not changing. There are benefits to not being kinder, more loving, and having hope. If there weren't benefits to it, we wouldn't do it. And then what are the monsters? What are the problems that we have currently that would go away if we were more loving, more kind, and had more hope? So I'm going to go over the homework, and you're going to go into small groups. Alex, we're going to hit groups of about 5, please. And in the group, I want you to fill in the robbers quadrant, the monster quadrant, and the mermaid quadrant. And to work with the people in your group over the 10 minutes to come up with what are the things in those other groups. And I will see you back here when those 10 minutes are over. And you're all being invited to join groups. And Alex, I was smart and I didn't join the group this time, so I didn't wind up in that little rabbit hole we did last week. So is anyone having problems getting to their group? Rose or Anne? Jim? Rose, are you able to get to the group or no? Oh, I can't. You're not on audio.
I hit the wrong button.
Okay. Alex, can you help Rose out again?
Yeah.
Let's see. Rose. I'm trying to find Rose on the list. You should have gotten
She hit the wrong button. So can you
okay.
remove
Let me
her?
see if I gotta see if I can find a
You're
way to
still a
move her.
good person, Rose. I think. I'm assuming. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Alex, would it help if we put Rose in the waiting room and then brought her back in?
I'm gonna put you in the waiting room and bring you back. Because her name just disappeared from the list. So let me do that.
Oh, I just did it.
Oh, okay.
You let her back in. There she is. Hi, Rose.
Huh.
You know what? We can just, Rose, you just stay here with me, Scott, Alex, and Maria. So let's just make our own group. We are going rogue.
Okay, I found her. All right, let me try.
No, I want to keep her.
Oh, you want to keep her? Okay.
Well, we lost Maria. Rose, do you want to go to the other group? You want to hang here and figure this out with Alex and Scott?
I'll hang with the experts.
Oh, so you want to go to the other room?
No.
We're not experts, lady. But here, let's give it a whirl. If the goal are hope, kindness, and lovingness, being more loving, well, let's start with, where does everyone live? I live in Portland, Oregon. I don't know where you live, Rose. I know Alex and Scott are in California.
Just north of Emily. She's the reason I'm here.
Oh, Emily with the overalls who curses all the time.
Yes, sweet Emily.
She is a dear.
Yeah, she invited me to the group. Anyway, FYI, I'm in Bellingham. I'm just north of her.
Bellingham, Washington. I was the chief rabbi there one high holiday, sir. Anyway, let's get to this. What are the problems we're going to have that we don't currently have if we have more hope, we're more loving, and we have more kindness in our life? What do you got, Scott? I see your lips starting to move.
I've been thinking about this diet we're doing, and the good thing would be we lose weight and we're healthier.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is, like, it sucks. It's depressing.
Yeah. And how about if you tomorrow started being kinder to everyone? Hi, Maria. If you started being kinder to everyone who you interacted with, what problem do you think you would have that you don't currently have?
Probably have to deal with people's problems that, maybe I'm not really was up and prepared to take into my life.
People might dump their problems onto you.
Yeah, I guess that sounds selfish, but
No. It's totally. We're full permission to be selfish and to just come up like, yeah. Who wants to deal with other people's problems? If I'm kinder, more loving, more hopeful, people might dump on me more. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like that, but I get it. Maria, you got anything? Rose? Alex? If you're more loving, more hopeful, more kind, we would
Embarrassing, but it takes me psychological energy sometimes to be kind to others. And
Yeah. You might be more psychologically tired. It's tiring. It's right. So it's easier. It's easier to be lazy and not hopeful. I totally like that. Good one.
Be disappointed.
Oh, help me out. So you might get disappointed because if I'm more loving, hopeful, and kind, I'm going to see that fewer people are, and I'm going to wind up disappointed. Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. All right. Maria?
I'm waiting for the mermaid.
Okay, shoot. What's a mermaid? So one of the reasons I'm not hopeful, kind, and loving is because I currently get to do this.
Well, it feels good. I get my sort of my righteous indignation.
Oh, shit. Did we have a problem with that one? Yeah. I didn't use the F word, though. Righteous indignation. We get righteous indignation. Right. I get to feel morally superior. Wait, is that it? Do I have it right there? If I become hopeful, loving, and kind, I'm no longer allowed to be, judgy. Oh, yeah, that totally sucks. Is that what you're getting at, Maria?
Yes.
You don't get to be judgy. And Jane always says about the warm ooze of judgment. Like it just feels like a nice warm blanket. I mean, we know it's wrong, but it's awesome.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah. Other things? What are other things that if I'm hopeful, loving, and kind, I'm not going to be able to do anymore?
Well, I mean, sometimes there's someone steps on your toe, your impulse is to stomp back, and if you are being hopeful, loving, and kind, that prohibits you from exacting revenge upon your enemy.
Yeah. You lose that cathartic explosion where I get to explode at somebody. I don't know how to write that though. How do I write that down?
The explosion cartoon.
I'm gonna say lack of revenge.
Yeah.
Or inability to exact revenge.
I'm gonna say lack of the joy of revenge, because it's not just revenge. It's I'm not able to watch them suffer. I mean, I know it sounds really awful. It's like in the movie where the person has to choose between black and white. Like, hey, would you rather be vengeful or kind? It's like, schmuck, obviously kind, but it doesn't seem that obvious, does it? Alex, I forgot to keep track of time, and I'm sure you know.
Yes, and we have about I think about one more minute. I think.
Does it send out that 1 minute warning?
When I close the room, yeah, it's because we sent them in at 8:39.
Okay,
and it is now 8:49. So I'll call everybody back.
Call them back. I see my daughter. Oh, and my mom. Look at that. Total intergenerational award winner right here. Mom and daughter on the same screen. Well done. Hi, Eames. Maria, Scott, Alex, Rose. That's my mom. Mom, you're muted, so we can't hear you. But that.
Oh, that's okay. Now I am or not?
No, now we can hear you.
Words of wisdom. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How'd
All
you
the
how'd
way
you
from
sleep? All right?
Yeah. See, we haven't seen each other yet.
No, I came downstairs to set up for this. Good. Annie, were you part of a small group or no? No. Did you just get here?
No.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Here comes the crowd. The crowd.
We're back.
Well, wonderful. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And let me take a moment to thank Joe for moderating the chat and to thank Alex for all the tech help that Alex is always doing. And to thank all of you for showing up. I win the Intergenerational Award today. So I just need everyone to know, because if you look on your screen, you will see that is my mom and my daughter at the same place at the same time. And the Intergenerational Award today is we get to go to the hardware store.
Smile, Annie. Yeah, Annie looks thrilled to go to the hardware.
Just thrilled.
Wait, Annie, is that not? It's not. Wait. Did you want wooden coins instead?
Yes, please.
All right, but that does remind us that next week for anybody who would like, next week is Intergenerational last. Is that the last one of the month? Yeah, it's the last week of the month, and that's where bring somebody in your family. You know what? We'll even take cousins. Why not? Let's take cousins. Let's expand it out that way. So we'll go.
I've been trying to get my niece to join up.
Yeah.
Do they have to stay the whole time? See, I might not be able to get them to stay the whole time.
I don't really know the rules to this. I'm kind of making some of the. I don't know how many of you know this, but I'm kind of making stuff up a lot. Okay.
Emily brings Bernie Sanders quite often.
That is true.
He's in the closet still. He's very
So
that about him.
let me bring our focus back. What did we come up with for if we are to be more loving, more kind, and have more hope in the world? If we're to be these people that, at least on paper, it would seem like we would want to be, if we were to have more hope, to have more love, and to be more kind, what did you guys come up with as some of the possible detriments to doing so? So if we change, we become more loving, more kind, more hopeful. But we now have the problem of, what'd you come up with?
Disappointment.
That we might wind up more disappointed. Okay. What else did you come up with?
You have to.
Being considered a Pollyanna and not taken seriously.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. People might think that we're flighty.
Hopeless.
Say it again, Rob.
Hopeless.
Wait. If we change to have more hope, to be more loving and kind, one of the problems is we're going to have less hope? I don't understand that.
Oh, I thought you were saying if we change to become more. Sorry, forget it.
No worries. Somebody have another robber if we have more
Brian,
hope? Yeah, go ahead, Hugh.
The increased vulnerability would lead to possibly more hurt.
Yeah. We might wind up hurt by people. They might turn us into more vulnerable and get a little bit more hurt. Okay, let's look at this one. What are some of the good things that we have right now that we would be losing? If we were to, I'm not saying anyone should. I mean, what kind of rabbi would I be if I told you to be more hopeful, more loving, and more kind? That sounds ridiculous. I don't want you to do that, because if you did that, you would no longer...
So one of the things our group said was that you're taking a path into the unknown. Oh, wait, where are you?
Okay, so I'm going to put that back up here. That it's scary. I'm going to put that back. up with the other ones, that it's scary to do. That's a definite new negative.
Judgmental.
Oh, we don't get to be judgmental.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joan,
Oh.
in our group, Joan suggested that we wouldn't be able to get our way because we wouldn't be stepping on people.
Yeah, we won't win as much. I mean, obviously we're playing the wrong game, but we won't win as much. Yeah. What else? Ray, you have something?
In my group, there was one of the things you'd lose is growth. There'd be no growth. You'd be stuck.
If you become
Down
more
on the
hopeful,
bottom.
more loving, more kind, say it again, Ray. I'm
Yeah.
not following that.
Well, down on the what you'd lose
Yeah.
if you didn't change.
Yes.
Would be no growth.
Oh. So that's a problem.
You just stay the same. You're stuck.
I like stuck. Okay, keep going. What are other mermaids, or what are other mermaids? What are other things we won't be able to do because we leave today being kinder, being more loving, and having folks? I mean, I've listened to the news. It sounds hopeless. What am I going to lose? I'm going to lose. I'm going to have what I have right now that I enjoy is I have a community of ne'er-do-wells.
Right.
We all get together around the water cooler and we talk about how effed everything is.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I won't be able to bitch as much.
Yeah, you won't be able to bitch as much.
You would lose your self-righteousness.
Yeah, and we're not going to get to that quote because I remember how well that went about the moral indignation. But okay, self-righteousness.
Okay.
That was the closest we have gotten to a mutiny.
Certain perspective that you might lose.
About the inability to identify toxic relationships. That's one of the things that I noticed is that when you start really caring about yourself and loving and adding more of that to yourself, you start identifying those around you who are more toxic.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in with the community. We're gonna lose people who we love, whom we love dearly, but we realize they are toxic for us. Okay, we are running towards.
One more.
Yeah, go, Jess.
I was just going to say that safety you get from not letting people in.
Yeah. The opposite of the vulnerability is we're safe.
Yes.
Okay, This all being said, before we get to what is 9 o'clock where I am, obviously, this is your choice. You can choose the same way I'm choosing not to say the F word anymore in service. You can choose. We all have a choice. The Greek word herasis means choice. And we get the word heretic from that. Isn't that great? To be a heretic is to choose otherwise. I'm going to quote, and then I'm going to stop and get off my soapbox. But Krishnamurti, he said this: being well adjusted to a profoundly sick society is no measure of health.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
I want to go from today and have more love. And I want to have a little bit more kindness and I want a lot more hope, because I've been down in the dumps a bit, and I'm going to risk all the potential robbers, and I'm going to lose my mermaid, but I'm going to take a little bit more hope this week. Sermon over. We are about to break into after service. The second hour goes like this. I do need somebody who usually goes. Joan, can you wave your hand so I can see you? Are you here still? I think we lost Joan. Is there someone who usually goes to deep dive who's willing to moderate deep dive today? Because I don't have Alex or Kip. Barb, thank you kindly for volunteering. So in a moment, I sign off and we go into different groups. There's Donut Hour that is hosted by Maria and Joe. And then there's Deep Dive, which today is going to be hosted by Barb Blake. Thank you for doing that. There's also the Wild West room, and there's a poetry room, which sometimes people are just in for a little bit. They bring a poem they wanted to share, and they then dop out to either deep dive or to donuts. Okay. And also, no, that's it. Let's all wave goodbye to each other, and we'll see you next week. Bye, gang.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.